I've been doing sit-ups. I've been doing chin-ups. I've been doing pull-ups. I threw up once, but I'm okay now.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is a Thursday edition of the Ysn Power Hour, powered by our friends at, there it is, over there, Toyota of Warren. Tino Merlo and his whole crew making sure that you can get into the best Toyota, the best vehicle that they have to offer. All you got to do is head over there today, tell them YSN sent you, and thank them incredibly for their sponsorship and support of the YSN Power Hour and your sports network. DJ with you. Appreciate you hanging out with me on this Thursday. Got a lot to talk about today. We have a special guest that recorded an interview earlier today. Mr. Carson Rhodes, Jr. over at Salem High School, the outstanding baseball player and young man. We meet with Carson. Had a nice talk with him about how things have differed from his freshman year, where he was the freshman, quote, rookie of the year here at YSN, to where things are now. I mean, there's a change. Salem 5-5, certainly not where they want to be, but not too far off the beaten path where they can still make some huge strides as we head towards the playoffs. We'll talk to Carson in just a little bit. A lot to talk about up to that point. Number one, it was brought to my attention yesterday afternoon, actually evening-ish, right after my game, where I did the South Range and Poland game. Congratulations to South Range on a 9-0 victory there. They run it back here in about 2 hours in Poland. Anthony Hartwig will have you covered there. And I don't expect Poland to just take that beating lying down. I think that there's going to be some revenge on the horizon for the Poland Bulldogs, but certainly South Range is not going to wave that white flag. But I digress. I was asked a question yesterday that I haven't been asked in such a long time, probably 3 or 4 years. And that is not how do I get YSN, but how do we get someone to cover our youth sports teams from YSN? And it's very simple. And if you're out there and you're looking to have your youth sports, that is something we want to be a part of. It's very simple. All you do is you reach out to us, whether it's our social media messenger on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. You can reach out directly to myself or Anthony Hartwig on our emails, which is mine's out there. It's dj.yoakley@ysnlive.com. Or you can reach us at info at ysnlive.com. And we'll get you started. It really, you can utilize us as a fundraiser for your event, for your league, and we do rev share, which is revenue sharing, and we can split the profit, so to speak, with that. Or if you're just looking for coverage, it's very, very affordable for your league or your organization. So head on over to ysnlive.com and you can get started as soon as tomorrow. Look at this. Hometown Hero says, let's go. And why is he saying let's go? Well, here, let me show you right here. Check this shirt out. The Hometown Heroes podcast official shirt of my dude, Thomas Vallant. Thomas and I go way back. I'm such a fan of what he does. And he has the Hometown Heroes podcast, which you can check out. Go look it up. Google it. You can find it anywhere. Thomas does such a great job. And I was so pumped up because I was wearing this shirt and I was reading through my emails and found out that his signing day, along with a couple other of his senior classmates over at Warren JFK, yes, he's just a senior. He's already done so much in his life. We're so proud of him. That's coming up, and we're going to be a part of that as well. So you'll hear from Thomas probably on this show if he's so willing to come on, as well as a couple other of his high school classmates here as Warren JFK starts their continues their college signings. His brother actually had a signing not too long ago. We were there for that as well. So looking forward to that. TV, congratulations as always. And I've never been more proud to wear another podcast shirt here on YSN. A lot to talk about today. Beautiful weather. Absolutely beautiful. It's going to be, or already is, in the 80s, depending on when you're watching this. It is absolutely gorgeous outside. Had a chance to go for the victory lap today. Had a chance to put 3 strong miles in. And I'll tell you what, it was a good talk. It was a good talk. We talked about, are you the one? And you can go check that out on my personal Facebook page if you'd like to. If you don't want to hear me talk anymore, I completely understand that too. But it kind of ties into what we're talking about today, being that it was chapter 42. We talked a lot about Jackie Robinson. And there's a number dedication there to Jackie Robinson. But Jackie Robinson was the one who got it done. There's a lot of people that sit there and they talk about it, and, leaders lead, but a lot of times leaders will wait for somebody else to lead first. And one of the things that I talked about is, are you the one? And that could be in your family, that could be on your team, that could be anywhere in your business, across the board. Are you the one? Are you the one in your community that gets it done? Are you the one in your state, your region, your country that is willing to go and push through and lead by example? And I think the biggest thing, guys and gals, is so often and so many times nowadays, there's so many of us that are just waiting on somebody to make a mistake so we can learn from it and either laugh at them and judge them, or criticize them for what they did, when what it really took was bravery. And you think about what Jackie Robinson did, and yeah, there were a lot more people, as we find out, that were involved in that decision. However, he was the guy that went out there and took the public criticisms. He took the negative Nancy's, right? And I think today's day and age, there's a lot that happens in coaching. There's a lot that happens in sports. There's a lot that happens within a team, within a conference, within a school district, that people look and it's easy to criticize and be the armchair quarterbacks, so to speak, but it's not so easy to get out there and lead from the unknown. And one of the things that I respect so much about some of these leaders, right, in our area, our direct area, is they're willing to lead, and they're really, really willing to raise the bar on anything that came before them, and not worry necessarily, because you don't know what's going to come after you, right? You hope that there's going to be somewhere, or someone rather, that takes that baton like a track meet and just keeps it going down the track. But sometimes you're running that race and you don't know, because you can't see the finish line. And I'm so incredibly proud to be from this area, not for the struggles that we go through necessarily, but the way that our leadership continues to push through. And that leadership that I'm talking about isn't necessarily political. It's not necessarily from just across the board standpoint. It's, look at the leaders that we have. Look at the coaches that we've been so blessed and so fortunate to have lead our student athletes, lead our future leaders in men and women, and all the things that they've gone through to do that. I mean, the losses that you have to go through. Everybody sees the wins. The wins are in the limelight constantly, right? You're spotlighted, especially now in today's day and age, because everything is documented. Everything is put on under a super microscope, because every win, every loss is analyzed through and through, whether it be numbers, whether it be who you lost to, who you beat, things of that nature. And I sit here and I judge our own YSN, our own platform, because we have the Power 20, we have the Power Rankings, we have big dogs of the valley. We have MVPs. We have all this stuff. And some of the things that I'm so incredibly proud of, I sit there and I second guess and I wonder, okay, should we create a leadership award at the end of the year? Is there a scholarship, or what should we be doing? And how do we continue to move the chains on what I think is one of the most important things in our area, and that's leadership. And you hear me talk about it a lot because I am obsessed with leadership, and I think sports is a huge conduit to that leadership, not only in today and how they can apply it today, but how they can apply it down the road and for years to come, if not for the rest of their life. Sports teaches us how to fail, but it also teaches us how to get back up. So my question today when I was going on my walk, are you the one? When you look at the mirror, do you see yourself as the one that has to be the domino, the first domino to fall in order to create change, in order to advance the ball downfield? And when I look in the mirror, my answer is yes, because there's a lot of people that like talking, but not everybody likes acting, because not everybody likes to look like an ass. I guess I do. I guess that's an improvement from my looks, is when I look like an ass. However, I'm big into risk and reward. And I know what I love. I know what I'm passionate about, and that's sports. And that is these communities, these coaches, and these student athletes. Passionate, absolutely passionate. It's why we don't settle for being the best at what we do. Without a doubt, we are the number one sports streaming company in not only the state of Ohio, but we beyond that, nationwide. Outside of the NFHS, we are the only and the elite that put together thousands and thousands and thousands of sports streams per year. And not only that, but we've already accumulated 8 million views on our webpage. And I'm not sitting here as to brag, but if I look back in time and I say 2017, when we had 56,000 views, and nobody was sitting there patting us on the back, and I'm sitting there wondering, are we going to be able to survive this? To the point where my wife and I, had a mattress store right here where you're seeing us today, just so we had income coming in. And this isn't a feel bad for me story. This is a rags to riches. No, this is a bust your ass and watch what happens. And that doesn't happen if I'm waiting for somebody else to write the blueprint. That doesn't happen. And there's so many people that I know, so many people that I've met along the way, along this last 6-year journey, that I know are action-oriented people. So I ask you, are you a talker or are you a walker? Talkers get by saying what they're going to get done, and walkers simply get it done. Now, you can talk about it after it's done, and that's great. But if you're not walking, if you're not making steps and taking those crucial first steps, even if you don't know where you're going, you're guaranteed a loss, right? So to me, it's either I lose by sitting still, or I can at least move towards a win. And it might take me a while to get there, but progress is progress no matter which way you cut it up. That's why when you see these 0-10 football teams, that's why you see these 0-22 basketball teams, these 0-20 baseball teams, a team that doesn't have any hope, supposedly, and 2 years later, they're contending. They're at 5-5. They're at 11-11. We've had so many of these coaches, and I'm so absolutely intrigued by sitting down with these coaches, these student athletes, and talking to them about how they go from not necessarily worst to first, but how they go from the basement to the living room. How do you get there? Because those first few steps are the hardest. I talked with Scott Mann earlier this week on a podcast, and I told him that and this is probably not timely considering what just happened to Elon Musk's spaceship. But if you're thinking about a rocket ship, right? Just close your eyes and think about a rocket ship, and we watch it on TV, and when it launches, the first couple or 100 feet, whatever it is, it struggles. It's the struggle bus because it's the hardest to get up and going. There's so many things, you're so close to the ground, that are going to keep you here and push you back down to reality, to earth, right? The negativity, all of that is going to keep you pushed down. But if you keep pushing through, if you're in the weight room and you're trying to move 200 pounds and you do it day after day and you incrementally increase it from 200 pounds, or I'm sorry, 175 pounds to 185 pounds to 195 pounds. And then next thing you know, you're at 200, 205, 215, 225, 250, 300. You see, because momentum follows the bold. Momentum follows the people and things that are in motion. And if you're not in motion, if you're not creating something, if you're not engaged in something, that momentum is not going to exist. So you're never going to go from 0-10 to 10-0 if you don't create that momentum. And something in that pendulum has to start swinging. Are you the one? Are you the one that is going to create that? Are you the domino that's going to make everybody else fall in line to what you're trying to create? You look a few years ago, East Palestine 0-10, and a few years later, they're winning the conference. They're making the playoffs. You look at South Range. Dan Yeagley will be the first to tell you that he's had his tough years too. And they're not always losing years, but not years that they thought they were going to have. You put 28 of those years together, and the ultimate culmination happens in 2022 when they win a state championship. That doesn't happen. And I firmly believe that he's going to tell you that 28th year doesn't happen without the 27 that came before that for him. And the 50-some that came before that for the South Range Raiders. That's why at the ring ceremony, there was a moment where he said that these rings are for everybody who came before you, for you, and everybody that comes after you. You look at that. You think about that. The momentum happens somewhere within that one program. And momentum can be contagious to different programs. You look what the softball program is doing. You look what the baseball program is doing and has done. You look at the wrestling program. You look at all these different programs. A lot of these kids are kind of intertwined with all these programs. And I'm going to say something that might kind of make people scratch their heads. But just like so many other things, success is contagious. Once you get that taste of success, it is hard not to absolutely be drawn to it. And it's not something that you're going to brew overnight. This is a recipe that needs to simmer. This is a recipe that needs to marinate. And you need to figure things out along the way. And if you're afraid to lose, if you're the one that's afraid to lose, you can't be the one. There's a lot of losses that you're going to incur, and coaches and student athletes and successful professional athletes and professionals in business will tell you that. If you're afraid to lose, this isn't for you. You're not about that life, as the kids say nowadays, right? The biggest thing is, if you're the one that is going to lead young men, young women, young people, if you're going to lead a business, if you're going to lead a team, if you're going to lead anything, you cannot be afraid to fail. And the others that are following, or the leaders that you're creating, they're not going to judge you if you fail. They're going to pick you up because they understand you're the one. And they'll stand by your side, or they'll help rally around you to continue down that down that path you're trying to blaze. So when you're talking about the one, when you're talking about being and changing a tide, when you're talking, listen, in the ocean, since we were just at Myrtle Beach, you've got to be able to withstand some of the tides. There's going to be people, there's going to be things, there's going to be other just natural things that are going to try to slow you down, if not stop you dead in your tracks. But you've got to be that rocket ship that gets through the Earth's gravitational pull, gets through, and then you're sailing off, and all the momentum that you've created is going to take you to the moon, to Mars, wherever you want to go in that final destination. The sky is your limit. But so many times we sit there and we go, it's not fair. It's not fair because of him or her. And you've heard the Rocky speech, right? But you've got to you realize you can't point the finger at anybody else because there's three of them pointing back at you. Make yourself better. Stand up, dust yourself off, and let's go. It's as simple as that. And I know it's not as simple as that, but it is. Sometimes you have to motivate yourself. Sometimes you have to be your own hero. And sometimes you just have to realize when you look around, nobody is coming. And that's okay. Success is very lonely. Ask people. That's why there's only one champion every year. One. It's very lonely. But it's also very unique because you're the ones that put in the time, the effort, the diet, those 4 a.m. workouts, those extra shots in the gym when nobody's watching. When your friends are partying, you're shooting foul shots. When your friends are out having fun eating Taco Bell, right, at a restaurant, or they're at the mall, or they're doing whatever they're doing, and they're playing video games, you're the one that is studying in the off hours so you can go and get those extra shots in, so you can take those extra hacks in the cage, so you can go out and make sure that you're training the way that you want to train because you want to be different. We spend 12, 13, I don't know if you add college in there, 17 years of your life, right, trying to fit in. But the second you graduate from high school, the second you graduate from college, everybody is looking for you to stand out. I can promise you that businesses and leaders of organizations aren't looking for people that are cut from the same cloth. They're looking for someone that's outstanding. They're not looking for the average. You can get the average, they're a dime a dozen. They're looking for someone that can help change their organization. They can help change their team. When you're being recruited, I promise you, nobody's looking for average. These recruiters, these colleges are looking for the one. And they're not mad that you took chances along the way to make yourself better. They're frustrated when you settle for average. So when you go and you continue about your day and you continue your path in sports or business or whatever it may be, make sure you're looking in the mirror more often than you're looking to your left and to your right. And you're asking yourself, are you the one? And if you are, then have confidence moving forward. And if you're not, that's okay too. But I firmly believe there's more of you out there that are the one, and you don't have to be chosen. This isn't a Jedi. You don't have to be chosen. You just have to choose yourself and say, hey, I'm going to be willing to take the darts, the bullets, whatever it may be, that are coming my way and protect my team, my family, my community, whatever it may be. You're the one. And those people, I promise you, if they're worth their weight in salt, they will have your back. They will make sure that you know those people who are few and far between, but you will find them. They have your back. Go be the one. Go be the one and do it with gusto. Be proud of it because it's not easy. It's not easy climbing up that hill, right? You cannot have uphill dreams and downhill habits. And a lot of people have that. A lot of people have that. A lot of people think that success as you continue to climb that mountain is only going to get easier. And I'm here to tell you it's going to get harder. And I'm at the base of the mountain. And I'm climbing with everybody else. But I guess the difference between my mindset and a lot of other people's mindsets are simply I'm not expecting it to get easier. I'm waiting for it to get more challenging and harder, and I'm okay with that because the heavy lifting makes you stronger. The more you climb, the stronger you get. I hope you're the one. We'll take a break. We come back. One of the ones, Carson Rhodes from Salem High School, will join us here on the YSN Power Hour presented by Toyota of Warren. Back after this in just a minute after a word from our great sponsors.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
Hi, this is Zell Bush.
Hi, this is Tom Flynn. Hi, this is Steve Versetto.
Hi, this is Ryan Miller.
Hi, this is Rich Sakui from WRS Wealth Advisors.
With our combined 80 years of experience,
WRS Wealth Advisors are the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services.
Or visit WRSwealth.com.
go Raiders.
Go Dogs.
Go Cats. Go Dogs. Go Tigers.
Jimmy Sudman here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Reliability, innovation, scale. These three values are those we look forward to in our business and in our team. If you're ready for a reliable employer who looks constantly to think outside the box in big ways, we're ready for you. Apply now. Help us push the envelope and deliver success. Envelope 1. Take that one extra step.
Winter, spring, summer, and fall. Mill Creek Metro Parks is your park for all seasons. Make a memory in the park. Plan your visit today at millcreekmetroparks.org.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. DJ Yoakley with you here and proud to bring in one of my favorites at this time, a young man who needs no introduction ever. A young guy that came on the scene his freshman year and now 2 years later is seen as one of the leaders as not only the Salem baseball team, but also one of the best baseball players in this area, committed to Virginia Tech to continue his efforts at the next level. And he's not even ready to get that started yet. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, CR Carson Rhodes of Salem, Ohio. What's up, buddy?
Not much. How you doing?
And we're doing all right. We're doing all right. Not as good as you. Obviously we talked a little bit before you got on here. Not exactly the start that you guys wanted, but you're off to a 5-5 record at this point in the season. The best, I think, is yet to come with this young Quaker team. But you've had to go through some kind of growing pains with the inexperience. You were kind of fortunate with some of the upperclassmen you had the past couple of years, your brother being one of them. But you guys have kind of banded together this year and kind of drawn a line in the sand. And hopefully moving forward, that winning record continues. What has been the major difference between this year, Carson, and the past 2 years for the Salem Quakers?
I think at the beginning of the season, the biggest difference for us was our catching. Like Darius Beck was our catcher for the past 2 years. He never really did it, but he came up and stepped up for the team and really got it done. So this year we've kind of had guys that haven't really caught on varsity that had to come in and catch, but started off slow, but now they're really doing good. And then another big thing I think is our hitting. Like right now we're kind of just like at the beginning of the game, we're just not being aggressive, like not really going for strikes and, watching a lot of pitches. So I think that'll just come as the experience comes as well.
I mean, as a guy that's been there and done that, right? You were a starter your freshman year. You can kind of pass along some of the tutelage to these youngsters, to these guys that maybe don't have the varsity experience that you have. What have been some of the conversations that you've had with the underclassmen?
The biggest thing I think is just like bringing the energy, honestly, and just wanting to be there. Like some of these guys sometimes just doesn't feel like they want to be there and just not really bringing the energy. But we're coming around, and that's been really a key part in our locker room.
What I've noticed the most is just the transition that you guys have had to kind of take over. You've got a new coaching staff. You got some seniors that moved on, obviously, last year, as they do every year. But you're trying to make sure that same expectation for Salem Quaker baseball remains the same. You and a lot of others on your team, what are the expectations that you guys have, and how have they changed maybe to even further that this year, even if your record is 5-5?
I mean, our expectations always just go for the next game, always want to win that next game. Like if stuff doesn't go our way, like never give up. Like don't go out of the game. Just anything can happen in baseball. It's literally a flip of a switch, and you could score 3 runs like that.
Now you're one of the leaders, without a doubt, on this team. There's a lot of youngsters, and not only in Salem but around the area, that look up to you. What are some of the things that maybe you weren't prepared for that now you've kind of grown into, from being a role model, a leader, and someone that people look at because you're in the limelight so often?
I think honestly, just I know this might sound a little bad, but all the talking, like some people will just go at me. I wasn't really expecting that just because I'm committed and whatever, but I've kind of grown into just let it go by and just don't worry about it because they're just trying to get at me. But I honestly think that's probably the biggest thing. Just people just chirping at you,
What have been some of the things that you've learned from that? I mean, obviously, when you're 14, 15 years old, you're committed to go to a D1 school. There's going to be people, like you said, chirping at you, saying things to you, telling you that what you can and can't do. How have you kind of grown through that process to kind of just let them do their thing and you do yours?
I mean, I've talked with my parents. It's just kind of just let it go. Don't worry about it. They're just trying to get in your head and get you off your game. So and just let your skills do the talking, you strike someone out for the last out and they're chirping you, all right, I'm probably going to do a little something back. But, it's if you get out, line out, and someone's yeah, nice hit, I'm all right. I kind of stroked that one out there. So it's kind of just let it go and don't let them get in your head.
Is there anything that junior Carson Rhodes would say to freshman Carson Rhodes that would help him get somewhere faster? Whether it be maturity, whether it be just being a leader, something in that realm. Is there anything you would say at this point to your former self that would help you get somewhere faster than you did?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is taking my warm-up seriously, because I know when I was a freshman, I kind of took it lightly, and lifting, I kind of took that lightly too. So I think the biggest thing I tell myself is always be locked in when you're in the weight room and always take your routine seriously.
How have you changed, I guess, is another question, kind of a different route to it. But how have you changed over the last 2 years to be a better baseball player, to be a better leader?
Yeah, I think it pieces off of what I just said. It's just taking stuff more seriously, talking to Lane and questions in my routine, and how I just always got to get it done right. So
now you mentioned Lane, over at YSU, it's been a tough year for the big fella, battling some injuries, and those things can kind of create doubt in the back of your mind and things of that nature. What things have you guys talked about in relation to, you know, not everything's always going to be sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes you're going to have to battle. A lot of times you're going to have to battle through some things that you weren't really anticipating.
Yeah.
What have you learned with Lane, and what conversations have you had with your big brother?
I think the biggest thing this year, because he got hurt, was like don't let someone else, coaches will be telling him to like rush his warm up and stuff, but like just don't let them tell you what to do, you know. And like the biggest thing also is like he can't get down on himself for getting hurt and like want to give up, you know. You just got to always keep fighting, but don't like rush it. That's his thing. He's eager to get back on that field and get back to pitch, but he can't rush it and do something worse to his arm. So
I think we all can appreciate that. I mean, that's one of those things. Persistence is good, but patience is key. As you guys turn the corner into what soon, believe it or not, tick-tock will be the OHSAA baseball playoffs. That's where you guys have shined over the last few years. What's the different gear that you hit from regular season to postseason that always makes this Quaker team a really, really tough opponent?
I really think my freshman year is like what we look at, what we want to strive to be, you know. Like last year it was always like, yeah, we made it to that regional final. Like that's what we want to be. And we know what we did to get there. So like, I feel like that's just like always planning into our heads. Like that's what we're thinking about. Cause we want to, like, it was so fun. We want to get back there. Everybody that on that team wants to get back there. So I think that's really the biggest thing. Just remembering how fun that was with all of our teammates.
When you think about this year and all the things that made with the year, do you guys have left to check the box on the 2023 season? What things do you want to do and accomplish before it's all said and done?
I think the league's out of contention now, but I feel like making a run in the playoffs is definitely up there. I feel like getting everybody quality at bats and everybody like producing when they're at bats, not just like hitting the ball and play, you know, like hard outs is what we need. Because I feel like that just fires everybody up. Like you see someone hit a hard line out or a double in the gap, or Gavin Williams already has 3 bombs. You see him hit a bomb, like you're going to be like, yeah, like let's go.
You talk about Gavin. I mean, Gavin's had a great year. Obviously, he's on to big things, and he's been a big contributor here in 2023. You know, it's a situation, Cars, where you can't do it on your own in baseball. It's a 9-man sport, and your team has really rallied around you and Gav and a couple of the other guys. What are you trying to, leading by example is easy to talk about, but it's a lot more challenging to do. What things do you guys as leaders talk about in setting the tone on an everyday basis? Every time you guys go out there, what conversations are you having with each other that you know what you can do, whether you win or lose?
I feel like always hustling on and off the field. That's a big thing. Like you gotta be into the game. You gotta be showing that you want to be there. I think that's one of the biggest things. I feel like after a strikeout or like an out, you can't get down, like mosey on back to the dugout and not be there for your team the rest of the game. I feel like that's another big thing. Like always being there, always having your team's back is probably the biggest thing, and always having energy in the dugout.
Now, you guys certainly, the pitching is there for you. You've only given up 4 earned runs all season through 10 games, and you've got a 2.1 ERA. You've got 31 strikeouts, only 11 walks, I think, to this point in the year. Obviously, the power, the fastball is there, the change stuff. What have been some of the challenges on the bump that you've had so far that you want to correct before postseason begins?
I feel like I only have 30 walks. I'm keeping my walks lower. There's been a couple games, I think against Lions, I had like 5. Like it's not full, but I feel like a big part. And then sometimes I'll get batters like 3-2 counts. I'll still strike them out, but like I shouldn't be getting to 3-2 counts. Like letting guys fight like that, bringing on my pitch count. So I think control is probably the biggest thing for me right now.
So this is an interesting question. I got this the other day from a parent and from a fan. In softball, you can let the pitch count ride as much as you want because there's no real pitch count in softball. Plus, you can pitch the next day. Baseball, you have to be very careful about your pitch count, because obviously you get up there in the 100s, you're not going to be pitching for a while, certainly until your next start. So many times we see 0-2 counts, and you're one of those guys that gets way ahead a lot of times, and then you try to nibble on the outside edge or a little bit high, or try to get a pitcher, or excuse me, a hitter to chase. Is that always necessary? I mean, at this point in your career, and at this point, don't people expect that third pitch, if it's an 0-2 or a 1-2, to be a nibble pitch in a way, and not something really, really, meaty down the middle of the plate or on the edge?
Yeah, it's like I always try and do that just to throw someone off. Like 0-2, I might go with the high fastball and then go down low with the curveball just to switch the eye level. Like if I see a guy's super late on me, like I'll just throw the fastball again. And I know when I'm in the field and I'm watching Gavin or someone else pitch, and like they throw the fastball and the guy doesn't even swing or he's super late, I'm like, you got to throw that again. Like you can't mess around. Just get him out. He's not going to catch up to it. So I think that's a big thing.
From your standpoint, and I don't want you to give any tips or anything from you, but what is your most effective pitch?
Probably my fastball, but other than that, it's probably my curveball this year. That's been really good. Normally, I like my slider more, but I feel like my curve has just been a lot different this year and a lot better than my slider. So,
can you tell when the curveball is going to be on that game, or is it something where, throughout the game, you just got to keep going to it to figure out if it's going to have a little bit more snap, or if it's giving you the break that you want? Or do you know, like the second you go out there in the first inning, that your curveball is on?
Yeah, it's normally in the bullpen. Like I'll have days where my slider isn't on, my curveball is going to be on, curveball isn't on, the slider will be on. Then if I have a great day, they'll both be on, but it's normally either or, and I'll just stick with that the whole game. So, yeah.
My favorite thing about the roads is the family atmosphere. Your family, your mom, your dad, two of my favorite people in this world. Talk to me about them and the support that they've been able to give you throughout the years, and especially not always when times are good, man. They're people that will always pick you up when you are down because they believe in you. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot. Like always being there for me, always having my back no matter what. Like I could have the worst game of my life, and they're always going to be there for me and tell me what they think I should do. Like my dad will be telling me like what's up with my swing or something like that. But like they're just always there, always supporting me no matter what. And I mean, it's just awesome to have a family like that.
And shout out to Uncle Derek, who is giving you all kinds of love on the YSN broadcast, man. What's it like to have Unc up there chirping for you?
Yeah, it's awesome to have because of course he's going to be biased towards Salem, so you love to hear that too. Yeah, I mean it's pretty cool to have that too, that connection.
Dude, we're rooting for you. We're happy for you. So happy that you're still committed and still marching towards Virginia Tech. We're always in your corner. Carson Rhodes, one of my favorites. Congratulations, man, and keep on keeping on, brother.
Thank you, man.
So there you have it, Carson Rhodes. Appreciate him stopping by and just shooting the bull for a little bit, shooting the breeze. Great young man, confident young man, and that's why we love him so much. He's a young, just you have to remember sometimes that he's only a junior. It feels like he's been around for so long because he has. He's been a starter and an impact player since his freshman year. And there's confidence that just grows in you, and it continues to grow. And I can't knock him for being confident because he's got all the tools. He's got more tools in his toolbox than I'll ever be able to buy at Home Depot. But he's learned so much throughout the process. And I think that evolution and that maturity will continue to grow in Carson because he's seeing that how difficult it was for his big brother Lane to see and to lead by example. And I think Carson is finding that out. In that interview, you can see that there's frustration, right? There's frustration because he doesn't have some of the tools that he had when he was a freshman. He's got to almost create those tools. And to have a new regime in there in Salem, I think that there will be a point where those two things, the players and the coaching staff, will combine and they will be hard to stop. So good luck to Carson and the entire Quaker Nine, as they like to be called. And certainly they're a team that is a tough out in the playoffs. So keep your eye on them. And if they can grab a little bit of momentum moving forward over the next couple weeks, look out. Look out. We're going to wrap up the show a little bit early today. But before we do, I'm going to tell you what is available here tonight on the network on this Thursday, April 20th. Baseball-wise, 5 p.m. starts all across the board. We've got Derek Rhodes and that Salem Quaker Nine taking on Carrollton. That game starts at 5 p.m. Also 5 p.m., Cheney at Badger at Eastwood Field. Matt Morrison will have the call for you. Following that is going to be Lordstown at Ashtabula St. John. Sam Torres, the 440 sports show host in the morning, will have the call for you on that one. Niles at Lakeview is covered by Cooper. You also got Chris Colucci with the South Range at Poland game. South Range with a big win yesterday over the Bulldogs. Then you look down the chart and you see Walsh Jesuit at Archbishop Hoban. Alec Caberna wants it. Alec Caberna gets it. What a game that is going to be. Two powerhouses in baseball and possibly the number one ranking in the Power 20 on the line as these two teams do battle. Austintown Fitch going to head to Scene Park and take on Cardinal Mooney. Matt Marr and Jordan will have the call for you there at 5 p.m. Also at 5 p.m., Mineral Ridge at Columbiana. Joe Eusebio is going to have that. Happy belated birthday as well to the legend Joe Eusebio. And then we have at 7 p.m. at Eastwood Field, Warren G. Harding at Warren JFK. Matt Morrison will stick around and have the call for that one as well. From the softball side of things, we've got 3 games for you. Ty Bartell will have Brunswick at Archbishop Hoban. Softball-wise at 5 p.m. Also at 5 p.m., we have Canton Central Catholic taking on Cardinal Mooney at the Field of Dreams. Tim Corso will have that for you. And then South Range at Poland, round 2. Anthony Hartwig will have that one from the brand spanking new Poland softball field. That is it for the coverage on YSN. You can get all the games for free. ysnlive.com/live, or just go to ysnlive.com and click on the live tab, and it will link you to any game that you want in the YSN universe. What else do we have for you? Also, sponsorships. If you'd like to be a sponsor like our good friends over at Mill Creek Metro Parks, all you have to do is go to ysnlive.com/sponsor. Get involved today. It is the most bang for your buck that you are going to get across the board. Again, I told you, over 8 million views through not even 4 months of the year in 2023. If you're looking for your brand to be seen, there is no better place than here on YSN. We will make sure that we take good care of you, whether it's you're looking for one school or you're looking for them all. YSN Live is the place to go. And finally, if you're looking to be covered by YSN, make sure, again, you send us a message on our platforms, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can go to our website and email us directly. If you're looking to get involved, if you're looking to have your events covered, if you're looking to have your games covered, make sure you visit ysnlive.com or utilize our messaging service across our platforms on social media. It is now time for the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by Joe Dickey Electric. Anything commercial, anything residential, anything electrical and industrial, I found out as well. Head on over to DickeyElectric.com for our good friends at Joe Dickey Electric. Tell them YSN sent you. All right, what's your spark? Well, my spark is this, man. Unofficially, your breaking news, you're going to hear it here first. The Mahoning Valley Scrappers are back on your sports network, and we're going to do it up bigger and better than ever this year in 2023. Our good friends Jordan and Heather making sure YSN taken care of, and we're going to make sure they're taken care of as well. You're going to see a lot more releases and maybe some surprises along the way. But once again, your sports network going to be your home for your Mahoning Valley Scrappers in 2023 and beyond. We're excited to make that announcement and certainly excited to have another summer kicking it at Eastwood Field. If you want to be the broadcaster and the voice of the Scrappers, we're going to have some news for you in the coming days and coming weeks. So make sure you're tuned in all across our social media channels. Of course, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube as well. You can check us on YouTube. That's going to do it for our show today. I know we're bouncing a little bit early, but there are things to be done and asses to be kicked, and you know we're going to do it. We will see you tomorrow. Scotty Mitchell will join us here on the Power Hour on a special Friday edition of the YSN Power Hour presented by your friends over at the Toyota of Warren. That's it for now. We'll see you tomorrow right here on the network. Peace. YSN